And welcome everyone to round one of the Daniel Ricciardo Series. We're at Hooton Park here in Cheshire, a 900-metre circuit built on an old airfield and just a few miles outside of Ellesmere Port. We'll be underway in just a few moments' time with our first of three qualifying sessions. Three classes with us this weekend: the DRS62, our youngest of the three classes, then the juniors of the DRS100 class, and finally the senior group of drivers from the DRS125. We're about to get underway then with our first of the qualifying sessions. Every group, every class that we have here this weekend will have 10 minutes to post the fastest possible time around this 900-metre Hooton Park Circuit. A very technical, tight and twisty 900 metres with several overtaking opportunities as well. And the first of our drivers are underway. We'll be able to bring you live coverage, or they are bringing you live coverage both through our YouTube channel, the Daniel Ricciardo Series YouTube channel, and our Facebook page as well. So those who aren't in attendance this weekend can follow all the action throughout this morning and this afternoon. All the drivers will take part in the qualifying session, which is underway at the moment. They'll all also have a heat, a pre-final and a main grand final later on this afternoon, all accumulating points towards the Daniel Ricciardo Series Championship. We have 6 rounds of that championship. The first is here at Hooton Park. The drivers will all head over to Rissington on the 18th of July for round 2. They'll head right down to the south coast to the Clay Pigeon Circuit in late August before heading back to the Midlands and Wilton Mill in September, before a return to Rissington in early October. And it all comes to one grand crescendo at Fulbeck right at the end of October, where we'll be crowning 3 DRS Series champions. We're at the start of that journey now, and the DRS62 drivers are at the start of their qualifying session. We'll bring you some live timing in just a moment as well. So, whilst we await the first times to be posted, I am joined by the main man for the Daniel Ricciardo Series. Andy Cox is here. Andy, firstly, isn't it nice to be back involved in some championship car racing after a pretty horrific 18 months for everyone?
Well, it's been a while, hasn't it?
Which we'll see later on, but lots of overtaking opportunities, lots of opportunities for drivers to carry momentum, and the importance of being smooth out there and carrying momentum from corner to corner, putting good lap times in. But ultimately, this is a driver's circuit, isn't it? And I assume that's the reason why the series is here for its first round.
No, it's a fantastic circuit, very, very technical, as you say. We always get a warm welcome here from the owners of Hooton Park, and they look after us incredibly well. But yeah, I mean, as you can see here, this is a really fast section, and especially the cadets, you can see them trying to be close to each other, so they're in the tow, trying to get the momentum up through the corners. The biggest thing here is not to overheat your tyres, because if you overheat your tyres, and they fall out of that window where they're getting the right grip, suddenly the kart slides a lot, and you can just lose acres of lap time, especially in the middle sector. So the drivers that keep it smooth, and their mechanic, their mums and dads, if they've got the pressures set right and the driver's driving smooth, then they should have the consistency, and they should eke out the lap time that they're looking for.
And of course, this is, a breeding ground for a training ground for young potential Formula One drivers, and the sort of things that you hear when you watch the Grand Prix at the weekend about tyre management, about being able to, look after those tyres, keep them within an optimal window. They are all aspects that they start effectively learning as part of this series. And I think the most important thing for me is that everything is standardized here. We are absolutely about driving ability and nurturing that driving talent, because effectively all the equipment is the same.
Yeah, I mean, all the drivers, of course, are different, but they are the one thing that makes the biggest difference. So we work very hard to make sure that all the chassis and all the engines are as equal as possible, so that every driver that enters the series, potentially, if they can drive, and they have got that talent, it shouldn't be the equipment that's going to hold them back. It isn't like in some of the other open categories where basically you can buy lots of engines, lots of chassis, and you can just, it's a bit like Formula One, you can just buy power and buy an advantage. So how many times have we seen in Formula One that fantastic drivers are in cars that unfortunately are never going to win the race? So with this, all the karts are priced reasonably, and if they're maintained and looked after, a bit of TLC, and the drivers are absolutely passionate and gets the laps in, then it won't be long before they're up the front of the field.
And what we have always seen in this series is close racing, and that's testament to the equipment that's on show and the standardisation of that equipment. We are already well underway in our first qualifying session. Let's just take you through where we are in terms of the drivers that are making the most of the early running. The fastest driver out there at the moment is Jack Robinson, the number 4, so 41.597 lap time, and only just around a tenth and a half of a second away in second place is the number 120 of Oscar Walsh. We're seeing groups of these drivers together, and in terms of a strategy for qualifying, we're seeing drivers that are almost getting a tow from each other, trying to pull each other around this Hooton Park circuit. There is benefits, isn't there, from having the ability to chase in a kart. Generally, 2 karts travel faster than 1, and you can see these drivers almost pulling each other around.
Yeah, I mean, obviously in qualifying you've got to get absolutely everything out of your lap time to generate obviously your speed, your corner speed, and sometimes for some drivers, that is, you hear that I'm not good at qualifying, but I'm good at racing. So when you're really pushing hard, sometimes it is good to be tucked up behind someone who's very slightly quicker. So you're braking, you're getting your braking more consistent. And what I always used to say to drivers is, see if you can get a tow, see if you can generate your lap time. But the minute that the guy, you suddenly realise that the guy's holding you up like here, and you've got to go, you've got to play the game, and you've got to go to the front. And then what you've not got to do is undo your good work by then towing the driver that you just passed behind and improving his or her lap time. So it is a tricky one, and and worst case scenario is that whilst all this is going on, someone in the midfield who's actually got a clean piece of track actually might do you all and do a better lap time and grab the pole. So it's it swings in roundabouts really.
We're watching at the moment this group that is led by Joshua Turnbull, the number 3, as they head down. Joshua Turnbull has effectively been cutting the air resistance for everyone, and is probably not at all upset by the fact that the 1-2-1 of Conor Scarrisbeck has just gone past him. It will allow him to get in behind now and try and cut some of that wind resistance from in front of the nose cone. Those drivers that we're watching now just heading down towards this double apex right-hander at turn 4. I spoke this morning on the track walk about how important that corner is to give some momentum into this really fast chicane which leads you on to the final corner here at Hooton Park. We may see some overtaking in there. It's not really your traditional final corner, Andy, whereas they're coming off a very fast chicane, and they would have to be quite brave to stick it down the inside there, but I would guess that the risk and reward balance will be quite high.
Yeah, I mean, it's we saw a few passes yesterday into there in testing, and the biggest problem there is, as you say, you're coming off the left and right really quick, and you've got to be pretty confident under the brakes to then actually control the corner. And what you find with with some of the less experienced drivers at the moment is, they can't hang on to the brake enough, and actually what happens is they shoot wide, and then the driver that just passed has the undercut under the inside. So it's all about the timing and their braking and kart control, but it's a sneaky move, probably one that we would see probably on the last lap dashing for the line.
Yeah, absolutely, and we'll talk lots about that, the tactics, if you like, of kart racing, and the fact that sometimes it's not always the fastest driver that wins these races, or indeed, comes out on top come the end of the weekend. It's often the driver who is the cleverest and can plot and plan their way through these heats, pre-final and final. We've just seen the 1-2-1 of Conor Scarisbrick go up into second place of 41.472 is his next fastest lap. They're just crossing the line now towards the end of this session, and we will grab hold of the official times and see which drivers have come out on top as we look towards the timing screens supported by Alpha Timing this weekend. Remember, the live streaming is with you on YouTube and our Facebook channel. Just search for the Daniel Ricciardo Series and you will be able to watch all the action from the sessions this afternoon. So at the end of the first qualifying session, then Jack Robinson, the number 4, who completed 14 flying laps. His best of those laps was a 41.380, just a tenth of a second behind Conor Scarisbrick. Third fastest, Oscar Walsh, a 41.517. Then Harry Bartle behind them. Joshua Turnbull, who was the early pace setter and was certainly leading the pack in terms of track position, completes the session in 5th. James Roberts in 6th. Archie Pitts-Drake 7th. Jackson Lane 8th. Danny Bonner is 9th. And Adam Bourne rounds out the top 10. The top 6 drivers all covered by just 0.3 of a second. And if that's an indication of how close the racing will be later on today, then we're in for a treat. Engines are ready to go, and the DRS62 drivers stream onto the circuit here at Hooton Park for the first of their heats, 8 minutes plus a lap. As we said before, led out by the fastest man in qualifying earlier on, which was Jack Robinson. The number 4 driver, Conor Scarisbrick, is alongside second on the grid, and you'll see them stream through now. As we said before, as you will in a Grand Prix, they have a formation lap, an opportunity to warm up the tyres, the brakes, make sure that they've got all the required temperature into every component that they're going to rely on so much during this 8 minutes plus a lap race. So a couple of formation laps. It's quite a short lap here at Hooton Park. So eventually, when they come back round towards the final chicane and the final corner, they will slow down into a formation. The only significant difference you'll see here between a formation lap for a kart race and a Formula 1 race is that there's no weaving, there's no jinking of the wheel left and right. They're not allowed to do that in kart racing. They're slowed down at the top of the circuit. They look fairly quick to me. They look fairly quick. They're going to go around again. And the reason for that is they are not formed, they're not slow enough effectively into the first corner. So at the opinion of the starter and the clerk of the course. We also have a series of officials out there who are making sure that everyone behaves themselves, making sure that the racing is clean and fair. And we have one of those just on start finish now who's just checking the speed. They are very, very fast here for a rolling lap, a rolling start. We'd expect them to slow right down as they come into the final couple of corners, and that's what the marshals and officials are just gesticulating to them at the moment, just to slow down. They need to be fairly tightly bunched as you come round this final corner. They're still fairly quick, it has to be said. They are now being told to slow down again. They're heading towards the lights. Will we go green this time? We will go green this time. And as Scarisbrick got the drop in the first corner, he has. Round the outside into turn 1. Conor Scarisbrick is the race leader. They head up towards turn 3 for the first time. Second place is Jack Robinson. He's got behind him the number 6 of Harry Bartle, who's got up into third place. They stream through turn 3 and head to this double left at turn 4. Oh, and we have stopped. We are red. So the race has been stopped. I can only imagine that is because the officials were unhappy with the start. They were very, very quick, it has to be said, through the chicane and through the final corner leading onto the start-finish line. So it looks to me the officials have raised the red flag, which effectively stops the race. I think they're going to stop them on start-finish, which they are. So they're all going to stop on the start-finish line. I'm not sure some of them were aware that was going to happen because there was a little bit of bumping behind them. I can see the dummy grid marshal is also on the way to the start-finish line, which I think they'll be re-gridded and start again. The engines have been turned off. I would imagine that these DRS62 drivers are in for a little bit of a ticking off here because I think they were far too fast. I think from what I can see, they were far too fast and they weren't happy with the start. They're all being sent over to the clerk of the course. Obviously, we don't have the ability to listen in to this, but I can pretty much guess what's being said. And that would be that you are there to keep formation. You are there to keep a consistent pace. You are there not to accelerate before you see the lights change. And yeah, I think I can work out from the gesticulation of the officials that he's saying to them when they come, you know, up towards the chicane, up towards the last couple of corners of the lap, that they need to be in formation. They need to be slow. So they're going to have another go here. The DRS62 drivers, not the start of the series we expected. It's fair to say, but it is quite a regular occurrence that the officials. It's important that the officials are, you know, on top of ensuring that we have fairness and equality with our starts, and that is what is being done here. So the next challenge is to put them back into the order that they are meant to start in. The driver that will be disappointed with this is Conor Scarisbrick, because Scarisbrick got the best of the starts. He got himself out front. He got the drop around the outside into turn 1. And he'd already got himself a nice little advantage. He got himself 3 or 4 kart lengths of distance between himself and Jack Robinson. So the front 2 will have another go. Now, of course, the clerk of the course does have the authority here to put the front 2 to the back of the grid if they can't do it properly, and that's been seen before. There is that option. We've got one driver just struggling to get away here. It's the 111 kart of Danny Bonner. He just managed to get it started now. So Bonner has rejoined. There is a bit of a gap now, though, between the lead 10 or so karts and the karts that are just trying to catch up. We've got one. Have we still got one on the start-finish line? So we're going, oh, this could get messy because these have got to catch up now. There is a little cut-through on the way into turn 3. That doesn't sound very healthy though from the 135 who just comes past our commentary position, the 135 of Nat Johnston. Sounded like it was just trying to clear its throat, the DRS62 engine. They'll certainly go round again. They won't go this time. They'll have another formation lap because they are not well formed. And it could be really tricky actually for the drivers behind to catch up. There's a huge gap back to the drivers who struggled to get away from a slight mechanical problem. In fact, the 135 of Nat Johnston is almost a lap behind here. So they need to get these two karts at the back of the field at maximum speed and to rejoin the back. I wonder if he'll send them round again, or if he just says, listen, we can't, you know, hold this race up any longer. He may let them go this time. They are much slower. They are much more tightly bunched and in a better formation than they've been before. I think they'll let them go here. I don't think they can really afford to wait for Johnston to join the back of this. It could be, you know, a lap or two extra. He's looking at them, the official. I wonder if he will send them again. This was a key decision at the start of this race. I think they're going to go this time. They are slower on the way up to the start-finish line. Did the lights go green? The lights do go green. It's not the best of starts for the poleman. Scarisbrick is round the outside and has done it again, but the poleman, Jack Robinson, has lost more than the one place. He's a little bit further back. In fact, I think he might be in fourth as they head up towards the right-hander at turn 3. We've got one on the grass as well. Scarisbrick has got the jump then. Second place is Harry Bartle, and Bartle is tucked up behind him as they go through the double apex left-hander at turn 4 and head towards this fast chicane for the first time. Here is the race leader then. Scarisbrick now sweeps round the long right-hander of the final corner and heads down towards start-finish to complete lap number 1. We've got 8 minutes plus a lap, remember, of this race. Scarisbrick then leads. Second place is Bartle. Let's see what happened as well to Robinson. So Robinson has come through in 4th place, although he's about to lose that 4th place, I think, to Joshua Turnbull, the number 3, as they go into the left-hander once more. Scarisbrick, Bartle, then Oscar Walsh, and then indeed it is the number 3 of Joshua Turnbull through the right-hander and down this long pit straight here to complete another lap. The front two are through once more. Little straight into the right-hand kink, which is more or less flat out for these DRS karts. Then the heavy braking zone of turn 3. Long double apex and down towards the left-hander. What a lot of these corners are here at Hooton Park is they are long sweeping turns with a couple of apexes, a couple of curbs on the inside. And now this little tricky technical chicane. The karts swing to the left-hand side to get the best line in and out of the final corner. It looks like Bartle's got a good run on Scarisbrick. Does he have a look down the inside? No, they both clip the curb on the way into turn 1. Nothing between the front two, nothing between in the battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th as well, with Walsh, Turnbull, Roberts and Robinson. Just looking at drivers that have made big inroads as well. 9th place for Liam Karbalov, made a place on the last lap. And the driver who lost a lot of positions on that last lap was Aaron Hewood. He's gone down into 20th place. So no change at the front. And Bartle, who was close last time round, not quite as close this time. And there's a warning flag as well. We'll try and see who that is for. The black and white quarter flag basically reminds one of the drivers that the officials have seen something that they're not overly happy with. So, Scarisbrick and Bartle, there's about a kart length or so's distance between them as they head down to turn 4. Then this 4-kart battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th, which is now led by Turnbull, the number 3. So 3rd in last year's championship. Joshua Turnbull is up to 3rd in this race. We've still got just about half distance left to go, plus that one final lap. So 2 groups of karts. The group of 2, which lead the race, Scarisbrick and Bartle, Then this 4-car battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th, which was led by Turnbull, is now led by Oscar Walsh, the number 120. So Walsh, Roberts, Robinson and Archie Pitts-Drake. Then Zach McDonald, the 104, is up into 8th. I wonder what the gap is between him and this 4-car battle for 3rd. He's got a couple of seconds to make up, so he may not have time to get on terms or what could happen in the closing stages. This 4-car battle for 3rd start to squabble, start to slow themselves down, and you wouldn't be surprised at all if Archie Pitts-Drake could just cruise onto the back of this battle and pick himself up another couple of places come the end of this race. Now, here is the battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th then. Walsh, Turnbull, Roberts and Robinson. Robinson at the back of this group, currently in 6th place. Will he have a look down the inside into the final corner? Nothing doing into the chicane, but he takes a slightly wider line to get a sharper run into that final corner. And now then they all get under the slipstream. Is there a move by any one of these 4 drivers? We'll keep an eye on the lap times as well, because especially the likes of Archie Pitts-Drake, is he circling faster than these 4 in front? No, he's not. So 41.8, 41.7 for this group. As down the inside goes Turnbull once more. So Turnbull retakes that lead. Now that will help Pitts-Drake. They're almost 3 abreast as they go down towards turn 4. How will they come out of this corner? There's a little bit of contact between the number 4 of Robinson and the 120 of Oscar Walsh. Walsh is demoted down into 5th place. And Turnbull then just trying to get himself away from the advances of the likes of Robinson, trying to push onto this battle for the lead if he possibly can. Now, this battle for the lead is some 3 seconds down the road, so unless they trip over each other in the closing stages here, I don't think that the likes of Turnbull, Robinson and Walsh, here is that move down the inside, and it was a warning for Oscar Walsh as well, courtesy of that. He just tagged the back, didn't he, of Robinson as they went into the left-hander. Here is this battle. Is there a change? There's no change in the lead. We'll keep an eye on those front 2 as well. We're coming towards the end of the race, 90 seconds plus that one final lap, but it's Robinson who's got past Turnbull now, and this is going to go all the way, this battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th. I wonder at what point Harry Bartle is thinking, right, I'm going to plan my move here for the lead of this race. We're just looking now towards the front 2, who are about to come towards some traffic as well. I'm looking out of my commentary position. They're about to come across the 134 of Haywood. Does then 2nd place Harry Bartle see that as an opportunity to try and take the lead of this race? When will he make this move? I'm sure he will make a move in the closing stages. There's a blue flag for the back marker as the leaders head down towards turn 1 once more. They're both past the back marker. Oh, it was very tight as well in terms of 2nd place. Harry Bartle, he had to overtake mid-corner, which is not what he wants, and now he dives for the lead, so we've got a change at the front. So Bartle then does use the back marker to take the lead of this race. He is the new race leader, the number 6. 2nd place then is Connor Scarisbrick, who's led this race pretty much from the start, now finds himself in behind the number 6 of Harry Bartle. Here are your front 2 then. Down this long start-finish straight as Bartle starts to look left and right. Just trying to see, he's going to have 2 laps to go, I think. They'll get through this one lap here. That will take them to the end of the 8 minutes, and it will be one last lap shootout. Here are your leaders, 2 of them, Bartle and Scarisbrick. Bartle has made his move. Scarisbrick is now patrolling, just looking in behind, trying to work out where exactly he's going to make that move. We'll keep an eye on the battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th as well, but at the moment it's all about who is going to win this first heat for the DRS62s. We've 1 lap to go. Does Bartle go on the defensive? He does. He keeps to the inside. It's a drag race between the 2 of them. Then he swings to the outside and makes Scarisbrick tuck in behind him. They're into turn 2, no change there. Here is an overtaking opportunity. Scarbrick to the outside, Bartle to the inside. They hold line of stern then through the long right-hander. No change this time as they go into turn 4, and Bartle defends once more. He's done a good job, hasn't he, of making that Daniel Ricciardo car very wide indeed. There's back markers coming up as well. Will they impact the closing stage of this race? The through the chicane, to the inside goes Bartle. Scarbrick's going to try and go the long way around. Does he try the undercut? No. Bartle then holds him off, and it is going to be Harry Bartle who does an excellent job at defending around this Hooton Park circuit. Bartle then wins. Here is the battle then for third place, and it's James Roberts who's come through in third. Turnbull is fourth, Walsh is fifth. Robinson demoted all the way down to sixth, and didn't he just about nearly get there? Archie Pitts-Drake in seventh place. Jackson Lane is eighth. Danny Bonner in ninth place. Adam Bourne is 10th, but Harry Bartle then, who did a masterclass in making that Daniel Ricciardo car very wide indeed. He took the inside line when he needed it, when he needed to. He stretched his legs and tried to get as much of a racing line on the way into the corners as he could, whilst not giving Conor Scarrisbrick enough room to find a way down the inside. Scarrisbrick did have a little look around the outside at getting the undercut onto the start-finish straight, but that was expertly defended as well. And Harry Bartle is the winner of the first race of the day here, the DRS62 first heat. These DRS62 drivers will head towards a pre-final later on this afternoon. But very interesting indeed. The fastest lap of 41.393 from Harry Bartle. Interestingly, the front two were lapping consistently about 3/10 quicker than the battle for third, fourth, fifth and sixth. So at the moment, it looks like a two-horse race, unless the likes of Robertson, Turnbull and Walsh and Robinson can find another 3 or 4 attempts to get themselves on terms with that lead duo. But an interesting first race, an exciting first race that went right down to the wire, as many of these DRS series races do, and was won in the end by Harry Bartle, the number 6. Conor Scarrisbrick in second, and James Roberts won that race for third place between himself and Joshua Turnbull, Oscar Walsh and Jack Robinson. We will wait for those results to be confirmed. They will obviously go through, all the drivers will go through those post-race scrutineering checks. And welcome back down here to the grid where the DRS62s are just preparing themselves for their pre-final. Remember, they'll have 2 more races today. The pre-final, which is due off in just around 4 or 5 minutes time, and then the main final for the DRS62s will be later on this afternoon. We've already had a chance to speak to Harry Bartle, and we've also had a chance to speak to Conor Scarrisbrick as well. We're just going to go back a row into row 2 and see if we can grab a quick chat with Joshua Turnbull as well. Joshua, third in the championship. I suppose, first and foremost, what's the plan for this year? To progress a little bit further and potentially get a number 1 or a number 2?
Yeah, hope.
And in terms of that first, how did you see that from your perspective? Obviously, you sat here on the second row of the grid. Well, how do you see that first race, and what's the plan for this one?
Well, we're trying to change things with the car, and I just hope we do well.
And in terms of those changes, are they set up changes? Are they to based on some of the feedback that you give back to the people looking after you?
Yeah, my dad's just helping out, and I'm just trying to get
of luck. So that's Harry Turnbull on the inside of Joshua Turnbull on the inside of the second row. We're going to go back as well if we possibly. Great qualifying session earlier on this morning. Great qualifying for you. In terms of the race, you now find yourself back on row 3. How was that first race?
I don't think the start went as good as I was hoping.
So what are you looking to do differently this time? Obviously, you're starting on the inside, so you have the best line into the first corner. Is it a case of trying to follow the carts in front and pick them off when you can?
Just try and get past them as quick as I can and pull ahead.
And if you had a target, so you've got this pre-final and you've got a final this afternoon, on your way home this evening, what would be a good result for you if you were to look back at today and think, right, that's been a good day? What sort of result are you looking for?
Top 3.
A top 3, a podium would be a good result. So that's our number 4, Jack Robinson, looking to possibly get on the podium if he can. So we are just a few minutes away now from the start of this DRS62 pre-final. As we said, the winner of the heat this morning was our number 6, Harry Bartle, and he'll be looking to replicate that. He came under some pressure from Conor Scarisbrick, it has to be said, and let's see if those front 2 can pull away like they did last time, or will we indeed get a challenge from further back through the field with the likes of the number 3 of Joshua Turnbull, or indeed the fastest man in qualifying, the number 4, Jack Robinson. We'll be back in just a few minutes' time with the pre-final for the DRS62s, and we'll see you then. So it's finals time here at round 1 of the Daniel Ricciardo Series at Hooton Park. And our first of those pre-finals is for the DRS62 class. Our youngest of these drivers. We just spoke to some of them on the dummy grid, including the man who leads them off, which is the number 6 of Harry Bartle. So last time round it was Bartle and Scarisbrick who were the 2 who led the way here. It'll be the group behind, including the likes of Joshua Turnbull and Jack Robinson, who will be very keen to try and hang on to the coattails, as will the likes of Oscar Walsh. So last time round we had this group of two gaggles of karts. We had the 2 leaders, which was Bartle and Scarisbrick. Then we had this battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th, which was some 4 or 5 kart lengths further back. Let's see if they can all keep themselves into a bit of a closer order for us this time round. So they're just coming towards the end of their 2nd formation lap. We expect them to probably go this time. They're fairly well formed, it has to say. They come into the chicane and then into the final corner. This long right-hand turn, which opens up on the exit and takes them all the way down the main straight. Right then, they come under starters' orders. They get the nod, if you like, from the clerk of the course. And they are away. It's probably certainly a better start than they had the first time round. So through goes Bartle into the lead. Up towards turn 3 they go then for the first time, and it is indeed Harry Bartle who leads. 2nd place, the number 3 of Joshua Turnbull. So we spoke to Turnbull on the grid about just trying to get that jump, just trying to get himself ahead of Scarisbrick. He's managed to do that, and the 3 of them now are just starting to scamper away ahead of Oscar Walsh. So Walsh, 4th place. Where is Jack Robinson? Let's just have a look at where Robinson had come through as well. Is he back there in 5th? I think he's a little bit further back this time. We'll get the order as they run over start-finish, as Turnbull has a little look down the inside of Bartle. Bartle says no, not on this occasion. Indeed, Robinson has dropped back to 7th place. So not the start that Jack Robinson wanted. They're heading into turn 3, and then they'll all swing right towards the entrance to turn 4, this double apex left-hander. They pop out towards the chicane. 5 of them now together. Oscar Walsh done a good job here of just closing this gap between himself and Conor Scarisbrick. 3rd and 4th, and down the hill they come once more. Harry Bartle then, who was the class of the field in the first race. Under a little bit of pressure here from Joshua Turnbull, Scarisbrick, Walsh, Roberts, Archie Pitts-Drake and Jack Robinson all there or thereabouts as well. I'm just looking now at Robinson, who makes a move down the inside, and Robinson takes that 6th place away from Archie Pitts-Drake, then runs wide on the exit. Can he hold the inside line into turn 4? I think he probably will do. We are back to the leaders then, and Bartle, 2nd place, Turnbull, then Scarisbrick, no changes there, and then Oscar Walsh, the 120 and the 114 of James Roberts. Then this short gap back to Pitts, Drake and Robinson. And over start finish they go, and we have a change in the lead because down the inside has not only gone Joshua Turnbull, but it's also gone Connor Scarisbrick. So Scarisbrick now up into second, the line astern through the right-hander then. And then down the hill once more, a little wave from Turnbull just to
stages. There could be an opportunity for Robinson. Leaders are through once more. No change in the front 5 positions. Scarisbrick heads up to turn 3. Little look over his shoulder just to check on the status of the 2 in behind. And there we see the likes of Jackson Lane in 8th place. 1-2-2 of Adam Bourne is 9th. And this battle for 10th between Zach Robinson and Liam Karbalov. The leaders have streamed past me for another lap. There is no change, I can tell you, at the front. They're on the way to turn 3 now. And Scarisbrick still in the lead. They've got, well, 5 seconds. So next time round will be the start of the last lap as we continue to see this battle, including the likes of McDonald, Karbalov, for 9th, 10th and 11th. The leaders then are just heading up towards the last lap board. It is the last lap, and Bartle and Scarisbrick are side by side over start finish. I can tell you now that Bartle has hit the front. Bartle down the inside into the first corner. The number 6 of Harry Bartle leads this race. Has he timed this to absolute perfection then as he goes into turn 3 for the final time? Scarisbrick back into second place. We've seen this before, haven't we? It's almost a carbon copy of how it was in that first heat earlier on this morning. They've got 2 corners to go then, the leaders. Number 8 on his way up to the final corner. So the number 6 of Harry Bartle then has managed to navigate it through. They're a drag race down to the final, to the flag, but I think it is going to be the number 6 of Harry Bartle that wins. Scarisbrick is going to come home in second. Joshua Turnbull will recover, and well recovered, up into third. James Roberts fourth. Jack Robinson fifth. Oscar Walsh demoted then into 6th place, with Archie Pitts-Drake and Jackson Lane 7th and 8th. But Harry Bartle, who got the job done, it has to be said, in the first heat, and has timed that one to absolute perfection. He found a way into the lead, found a way through on the last lap, down the start-finish straight. He managed to hold on to that lead, and he heads into Parc Fermé with a 100% record, with 2 wins from 2 starts from the heat this morning. Conor Scarisbrick 2 second places. Joshua Turnbull recovered to 3rd. James Roberts, a good drive from him, who managed to get ahead of Jack Robinson and Oscar Walsh. Robinson recovered from a fairly mediocre start, it has to be said, and got himself back into the top 5. And they are your provisional results for the DRS62 pre-final. So Bartle the winner, Scarisbrick in second, Turnbull in third, and that's how they will line up for their main final this afternoon. The main final for the DRS62s is scheduled off at around 2:45 this afternoon. And we'll be back with you in just a moment on the grid with the DRS125s, who are scheduled to be on circuit around 2:05. So we're back on the dummy grid, just preparing for the first of our main finals, the grand final. So this is now the business end. So the drivers will all have been accumulating points throughout the day so far. But this is now the business end. This is where the grand finals take place. This is where the trophies are won and the podium is populated. So the first of those of our 3 classes is the DRS62s. They're about to start their grand final. So for those who've been watching the live stream and are just wondering what the hold-up is, we had a red flag just at the end of the DRS 100 race, so they just had to clear the circuit and make sure that it's prepared and ready for these DRS 62 drivers. At the moment, that's just taking a few moments, and they're just going to come to a conclusion on how that DRS 100 race is finished. The leaders will actually cross the line as the red flag had come out, so they'd received the checkered flag as the rest of the grid had seen a red flag. So I would imagine that they'll probably take that back a lap, but we'll wait for some official confirmation of that, and the live timing will be confirmed by the guys at Alpha Timing. But at the moment, we are just waiting for the official news with regards to that. We'll turn our attention to the DRS62, so you can just see them lined up on the grid, ready for action, ready for battle in this grand final. So it is going to be a few minutes after the original proposed start time. I think we're in about 15-20 minutes behind schedule at the moment. I think these guys were due to leave the grid around 15 minutes ago. So they have had a little bit of a long wait. I wouldn't imagine it will affect too many of them at all, really. They'll all be used to this situation from different times that they've raced in different series. So we're just looking down towards the front of the grid here. Harry Bartle, the number 6, has won both of the competitive races so far. He was first in the Heat 1 this morning. He won the pre-final earlier on today as well. On both occasions, Connor Scarisbrick, the number 121, has been in second place. We're going to try and have a chat with a couple of them. I'm keen to speak to James Roberts, who's the number 114. He's on the back. He's on, the outside of row 3 at the moment. So I'm keen to get his view in terms of this stoppage, how long it's taken, and what he's expecting to see as the race develops. I've just been informed that the race is going to go out at 5 past, so we've got about 3 or 4 minutes. So we'll just grab a quick chat with James Roberts now. James, you've been in the thick of it in the pre-final. This delay, does it make any difference to you? Is it just a case of concentrating and getting ready to go?
A bit weird, because we thought we'd finished the race by now. A bit more nervous, but fine. A
little bit more time for the nerves to take hold. In terms of the race, what's your plan? You're obviously starting on the outside of the third row. How important is that start? Are you looking to dive onto the inside as soon as you can, or will you be a little bit braver and see how things develop down the outside?
I don't know. I'll decide when I don't know.
You'll
see.
You'll decide as soon as the lights change. Well, all the best, James. So that's James Roberts, who's starting on the outside of the third row, keeping his cards close to his chest in terms of how he's going to start the race. We're just seeing some tyre pressures being checked on Connor Scarisbrick's kart as well on the outside of the front row. Now, that could be for a whole host of things. A lot of the time, mechanics and parents are just keen to make sure that they are right, they are where they left them, there's been no change. Sometimes it can be because of a change in the temperature. It has cooled down a little bit in the last half an hour here. I don't envisage that would make a massive change in terms of setup, and we're not seeing many other alterations being done from any of the drivers. So I think it's just a case of, as James said, letting the nerves settle in. This is the main race for these guys now. These last 3 races that we're going to have are the key. They are the one where the awards are given out and the most amount of championship points can be won. So the guys will absolutely be pumped up and ready for it. And I hope that it's going to give us, an excellent race. As what we've seen so far is we've seen Harry Bartle certainly be the class of the field. He's now got 3 or 4 drivers around him who will all be very keen to make his life very difficult in the grand final for the DRS62s. We'll be back in just around a minute's time with the start of the grand final for the DRS62s. So without further ado then, we are ready for our first of the grand finals, the grand final for the DRS62s, our youngest category of drivers, led out by the 2-time winner already today, Harry Bartle. Alongside him, Connor Scarisbrick. So for those of you who are watching the live stream, we are just around 20 minutes behind schedule at the moment. So this race will be 10 minutes plus that one final lap. And I'll do a couple of formation laps. So confirmation then of the new timings for the grand finals. So as we know, the DRS62 is on circuit at the moment. We know that the DRS125 will be a 15:25 start, and the final race they did, the DRS100s, will be a 15:45 start. So for those who are watching the live stream, that gives you an understanding of the timings as we expect them. And we are about to get underway with our first of the grand finals. Has Bartle got the drop? He gives the eyeballs to Conor Scarisbrick, but he's absolute safely through the first corner. Scarisbrick is right up there in second. I wonder if he'll just try and find a way through in the early stages here. Just stop Harry Bartle from extending a lead or getting away at the front of this final. It's still a long way to go here. 10 minutes plus a lap, remember, as we see the drivers squabble over those places all the way through the field. But at the moment, it is still our race leader, and the young man who has been at the sharp end throughout this first round of the DRS series here at Hooton Park. Harry Bartle then over start finish in the lead. Scarisbrick second. Joshua Turnbull, the number 3, is third, and then Jack Robinson and James Roberts and Oscar Welsh. So Roberts, who we spoke to on the grid, up a place into 5th, and right on the back of this group of karts that are all scrapping for the lead of this race. It's Bartle who holds that lead through the left-hander at turn 4 and up this short hill towards the chicane. Flat out for these DRS62. Then it's onto the brakes and a flick right. Let the kart roll to the outside of the circuit, gather maximum speed and acceleration down the long pit straight here, over to the left-hand side, clip the curve on the exit, and swing themselves into another lap of this hugely technical Hooton Park Circuit. A little look down the inside from Scarisbrick. He didn't make anything stick. Just keep an eye on Joshua Turnbull as well. He's right there in 3rd place. They're through the left once more. Robinson is 4th. Roberts is 5th. Conor Walsh a little bit further back in 6th place. Then Archie Pitts-Drake behind him, and Danny Bonner is 8th. Is this the chance for Scarisbrick? He tends to look down the inside. He's made it stick, hasn't he? In fact, he didn't dive down the inside. He was already home and hosed by the time he got to the apex. He managed to get past and had managed to take his race in line. Over the rumble strip goes Jack Robinson. He'll have caught those crocodile curbs on the exit there as Bartle comes under pressure from Turnbull. Now, this has totally changed the complexion here for this grand final, because Bartle, who had most of the things his own way in the earlier races here today, and now he finds himself in a scrap for 2nd and 3rd with Joshua Turnbull. And down the inside of Turnbull goes Roberts. So Roberts is the man on the move at the moment. We've got a warning flag as well. They've got to be careful here. If they do too much squabbling, it will allow for Scarisbrick to scamper away at the front of this field. Scarisbrick and Bartle. It was almost like a lap or so ago, like Scarisbrick had opened the drag reduction system, didn't it? It almost like he'd opened the back wing. Obviously, these cars don't have back wings, but such was the pace that he got past Harry Bartle down that main straight. Must have got a super run off the final corner, which is just about where the drivers are now. 1st and 2nd, just around about 0.2 of a second between them. Down the long straight and into turn 1 once more. No change in the leader, which is Conor Scarisbrick. He's had to look at the back of Harry Bartle's kart for most of the day, really. And now he finds himself out front with clear air. What can he do from here? Can he shake off the advances? Can he keep him off the back bumper? Conor Scarisbrick. Just keep an eye on Turnbull as well. Has certainly shown that he has the pace to be there or thereabouts, and James Roberts is starting to look ever ominous in 4th place. Through turn 2 they go. They've completed 6 laps so far of this main final, the grand final for the DRS62s, and Turnbull is right there now on the back of Bartle. Will he have a little sniff down the inside into turn 4? He decides against it, and they all concertina up behind Conor Scarisbrick. Fastest lap of the race so far from Bartle, 41.550, but he's under some pressure at the moment, isn't he, as they come through the right-hander. Drop down the long back straight here, over start finish line, and Bartle just keeps Turnbull at bay and has his eyes firmly fixed on Scarisbrick ahead as well. Up to turn 3, you'll see the carts over the bumps a little bit, swing right. Bartle is right there this time, isn't he? Tucked under, got a good run out of turn 3, tucked under the bumper of Conor Scarisbrick, who remains cool and calm, hasn't really had a look over his shoulder, hasn't really worried about where the rest of them are, whereas Bartle has had a long look over his right shoulder as they came through the chicane. Here they come then to start another lap. We've got 4 minutes, so we're over half distance here, as we get a contact penalty for Danny Bonner. So Bonner is down in 11th place at the moment. Other drivers on the move. Zach McDonald is up into 9th, and he got there at the expense of Adam Bourne, who dropped all the way down to 14th place on that last lap. No change in the middle order. Walsh is still 6th, Archie Pitts-Drake is 7th, and Jackson Lane is 8th. The 1-3-2 there of Benjamin Baker is 15th at the moment. He's chasing that pack that includes the likes of Bourne and Scott and Karbalev and Oscar Cole. Leaders have completed yet another lap. The new fastest lap of the race is Joshua Turnbull. So Turnbull then is still in 3rd, a 41.459 for him. So we're just keeping tabs on the leaders, who are through the left-hander at turn 4. Just come under a yellow flag at turn 5. And then they head towards the final corner of the lap and will come round to complete their 10th lap of what I would imagine would be around about a 14-15 lap race for these DRS62s. Another fastest lap for Turnbull. In fact, Turnbull has just replicated his fastest lap of the race, 41.449 for him last time round. This battle continues with Oscar Cole in 10th. So this on screen, the battle for 10th, 11th, 12th and 13th place. There's the battle for 7th and 8th with Archie Pitts-Drake and Jackson Lane, the two of them. Fairly clean air, aren't they? There's quite a distance between them and Oscar Walsh ahead of them in 6th, the number 120. 2.5 minutes then. At what point does Harry Bartle find a way? He finds it now, because Bartle has hit the front. Just off screen, Harry Bartle has hit the front of this race. Scarisbrick is demoted down to 2nd. There's been movement behind in terms of Turnbull has dropped off the lead duo in terms of track position. He's now some, well, 7 or 8 kart lengths behind, and it looks like it's going to be a 2-kart race to the finish here. We've got 2 minutes plus that final lap, and unless these two really start to fall over each other in the closing stage and significantly slow each other down, they have enough of a gap at the moment for it to come from either the number 6 of Harry Bartle or the number 121 of Conor Scarisbrick. Joshua Turnbull, the number 3, is still in 3rd, under increasing pressure now from James Roberts and Jack Robinson. Leaders then into the right-hander at turn 3. Down towards the double apex at 4. There's no move from Scarisbrick this time. Swings left and down towards the chicane. And then into the right. The long right-hander, which brings them back onto the start-finish straight. And this time, this is where Scarisbrick did it the first time. Will he pop out and have a look on the inside? No, he keeps absolute line of stern, tucked under the rear bumper of Harry Bartle. What have they got left then? 48 seconds. This will probably be 3 to go, 2.5 to go. So welcome back everybody to the first round of the Daniel Ricciardo Series here at Hooton Park. We're here for the trophy presentation and we'll start with the DRS62 drivers. We'll go in reverse order from third to first. So in third place today was number 3, Joshua Turnbull. In second place, just couldn't hold on to that lead spot for the duration, number 121, Connor Scarisbrick. And today's winner won the first heat, the pre-final and the main final. He's also our Rookie of the Day as well, number 6, Harry Bartle.
Well done, Harry. Right, so you got that one, and you've got that one.
Ladies and gents, our top 3 for the DRS62.
Yeah, that's what you've entered as.
What yellow plate?
Yeah, 6 trophies, Larry. Hang on.
That's what's on there.
Yeah.
Well done, guys.
Moving on to our DRS125, our senior class. In reverse order again, in third place, number 314, Cody Eustace.
You should zip your suit up for later too.
In second place, number 183, Ben Gartside.
He's not here. He doesn't know.
And today's winner, another clean sweep, winning the first heat, the pre-final and the main final, number 8, Elliot Stanley.
Well done, Elliot. What's your dad's side?
Do the rookie first on the
Yep.
DRS 100.
Well done, guys.
And finally, we saved most of the drama for the DRS 100 race. We'll do our first, our lead rookie first of all. The best rookie of the day was number 143, Daniela Sutton. Into the top 3. In third place, number 144, Freddie Cox. In second place, number 5, Dylan Briley. And today's winner on the last lap as well, number 135, Maximilian Solarski.
Well done, mate. Just come in down a bit.
Ladies and gents, the DRS 100 top 3.
Well done.